Welcome to The Explainer. We all think of Ramadan as this month of fasting, right? But what if I told you it didn't just appear overnight as this mandatory month-long thing we know today? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the surprising 1400-year story of how the Ramadan fast came to be. And trust me, its origins tell us a ton about its real purpose. So, was it always this way? The short answer is a big no. But the long answer? That's where things get really interesting. It's this incredible story about how the rules were revealed step by step, about human limits, and about God's mercy. It's a story that literally shaped one of the most important parts of Islam. Okay, so to really get a handle on Ramadan, we've got to rewind the clock way back to a time before it was even a thing. What were people doing? How did they connect with God before this command came down? You see, fasting wasn't some brand new idea. Not at all. It was actually a really common spiritual practice back then. So long before Ramadan was on the table, the Prophet, peace be upon him, and the first Muslims were already fasting voluntarily. The big ones were the fast of Ashura and something called Ayyam al-Bid, the white days, which were the 3 middle days of every month. Think of it like spiritual conditioning. They were already in training. And here's where it gets really fascinating. The most important of these fasts, Ashura, had 2 totally different backstories. Back in Mecca, the Quraysh tribe would fast on that day, probably because of a tradition going all the way back to the Prophet Abraham. But then, when the Muslims moved to Medina, they found the Jewish community there fasting on the exact same day. And their reason, to celebrate the day God saved Moses and the Israelites from Pharaoh. So when the Prophet heard this, he didn't dismiss it, he leaned into it. He affirmed that shared history, and famously said, "We have more right to Moses than you do." And he told the Muslims to keep fasting that day. It was a powerful way of saying, hey, we're all part of the same long story, the same chain of prophets. All right, so a couple of years go by in Medina, and then something new starts to happen. A new command begins to come down from God. But, and this is key, it didn't just drop on them all at once. It was a gradual process, something called tajreej in Islamic law. The whole idea was to ease the community into it, to build them up spiritually. And it happened in 3 really clear stages. You had stage 1, the warm-up, right? Those voluntary fasts that got everyone used to the idea. Then came stage 2. Ramadan is introduced, but with an option attached. And finally, stage 3, the final command, making it a non-negotiable pillar of Islam. So let's talk about that second stage, because it's so important. They were given this really compassionate choice called fidya. Basically, if you were healthy enough to fast, but you were just finding it way too hard, you had an out. You could feed someone in need for every day you missed. It was like a gentle on-ramp to this pretty intense act of worship. But even with that option on the table, the Qur'an was kind of nudging them, It was saying, but to fast is better for you if you only knew. It was a way of guiding them, encouraging them to see that the real benefit, the deeper good, was in the fast itself. It wasn't a command yet, just a strong suggestion. And then the final piece of the puzzle fell into place. A new verse was revealed, and this time it was decisive. The choice was gone. It established Ramadan exactly as we know it today, a mandatory month-long fast for every healthy Muslim who isn't on a journey. Yep, the training wheels were officially off. But hold on, the story isn't over yet. Not by a long shot. Because the first set of rules for this new mandatory fast, they were incredibly tough. And it was actually a moment of real human struggle that led to another act of divine mercy. Okay, I want you to really try and imagine this. You've been fasting all day, working hard, you're exhausted. You break your fast at sunset, but if you accidentally doze off for even a second, that's it. Game over. No more food, no more water, nothing until the next sunset. Your next fast started the moment you fell asleep, even if you hadn't eaten a thing. As you can imagine, this rule caused huge problems. And the story that really brings this to life is about a man named Qais bin Surma. He was a laborer, one of the Ansar in Medina, who spent his days working out in the fields. So one night, he comes home just completely wiped out. He asks his wife if they have any food. She says she'll go find something for him. But by the time she gets back, he had already passed out from sheer exhaustion. And under that super strict rule, his chance was gone. The window had closed. So he had to start the next day's fast without having eaten a single bite. Can you imagine? working out in the desert heat with no food or water for what was now getting close to 2 full days, he fainted. He just collapsed from the hunger and thirst. Well, when the prophet heard about what happened to Qais and to others who were struggling, this incredible verse was revealed, and it changed everything. It brought this huge wave of relief to everyone, allowing them to eat and drink all through the night, right up until you could tell the white thread of dawn from the black thread of night. And just like that, the pre-dawn meal, suhoor, became this amazing blessing and mercy from God. Okay, so now the fast is set, the rules are way more manageable, but the story's not done, because this brand new practice was about to be thrown into the fire, put to the ultimate test. This was about to become about way more than just personal piety. It was about building a strong, resilient community. And you have to look at the timeline here. It's just wild. In the month of Shaban, right before Ramadan, the fast becomes mandatory for good. Then, literally just a couple of weeks later, on the 17th of that very first Ramadan, the tiny Muslim community is facing its first ever major battle, the Battle of Badr. And the fact that this massive, history-making event happened while they were fasting, that sent a powerful message right from the get-go. Ramadan was never meant to be a month for being lazy or weak. No, it was born in the middle of a struggle. It was established from day one as a month of victory, a source of incredible strength. So when you put this whole story together, what's the big takeaway? It's that the fast has two parts, right? There's the outer fast, the obvious one, no food, no drink. But then there's the inner fast, the fast of the soul. And that's the real challenge, the struggle against our bad habits, our anger, our impatience. And the goal of it all? To reach that state of being truly mindful of God, what we call taqwa. Look, the actual Battle of Badr was fought and won a long, long time ago. But that inner battle? The one against our own flaws, our impatience, our tempers, our lack of self-control, that battle is one we all fight every single day. So, thinking about this whole story, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? This Ramadan, what's your battle?